The morning sun streamed through the large windows of the Montecito mansion, casting a warm golden glow across the nursery where 1-month-old Lilibet Diana slept peacefully in her custom-designed crib. Meghan Markle stood quietly by the window, her silhouette framed against the California landscape, watching her daughter's tiny chest rise and fall with each breath. The house, which had become their sanctuary after stepping back from royal duties, now felt more like home than ever before with their newest addition. Harry entered the room carrying a cup of herbal tea, moving with the careful precision of a new father who had learned to navigate around sleeping babies. He handed the warm mug to Meghan, and they both gazed down at their daughter, who bore an uncanny resemblance to her late grandmother, Princess Diana. The name they had chosen carried such weight and meaning, honoring both the Queen's family nickname and Harry's beloved mother. Meghan had been documenting her parenting journey through handwritten notes in a leather-bound journal, a practice she had started during her pregnancy with Archie. She found that writing helped her process the overwhelming emotions and experiences that came with motherhood. Today's entry would focus on something she had discovered during these precious early weeks with Lilibet: the importance of creating a calm environment that fostered both rest and connection. The nursery itself reflected Meghan's thoughtful approach to parenting. Soft, neutral colors dominated the space, with touches of sage green and cream creating a soothing atmosphere. She had researched extensively about infant sleep patterns and environmental factors that could promote healthy development. The room featured blackout curtains that could be adjusted to create the perfect lighting conditions, while a state-of-the-art air purification system ensured clean, fresh air circulated throughout the space. Unlike the formal, traditional approach often associated with royal child-rearing, Meghan had chosen to embrace a more intuitive, attachment-based parenting style. She believed deeply in the importance of responding to her baby's cues and creating strong emotional bonds from the very beginning. This philosophy had shaped every decision they made about Lilibet's care, from feeding schedules to sleep arrangements. Lilibet stirred in her crib, making soft cooing sounds that immediately drew her parents' attention. Meghan had learned to distinguish between different types of baby sounds: the hungry cry, the tired whimper, and the content babbling that indicated their daughter was simply exploring her own voice. This particular sound meant Lilibet was waking up naturally from her nap, which Meghan considered the ideal way for babies to transition between sleep and wakefulness. As Meghan gently lifted Lilibet from the crib, she began her routine of speaking softly to her daughter, describing everything she was doing. Research had shown that constant, gentle narration helped babies develop language skills and created a sense of security. She explained how they would change her diaper, check her comfort level, and then, perhaps enjoy some tummy time together. The diaper changing station had been carefully organized with everything within easy reach. Meghan had learned with Archie that efficiency during these moments was crucial, but she also used this time for important bonding. She would make eye contact with Lilibet, sing gentle songs, and provide a running commentary that kept her daughter engaged and calm throughout the process. Harry watched this interaction with admiration, noting how naturally Meghan had adapted her communication style for their infant daughter. She spoke in a higher pitch, used exaggerated facial expressions, and maintained constant eye contact, all techniques that supported early infant development. He had been reading parenting books himself, wanting to be as prepared and involved as possible in their daughter's care. After the diaper change, Meghan carried Lilibet to the comfortable nursing chair positioned near the window. She had chosen this spot specifically because the natural light helped regulate both her own and the baby's circadian rhythms. The chair itself was ergonomically designed to provide support during long feeding sessions, with adjustable height and reclining features that allowed for optimal positioning. Feeding time had become one of Meghan's favorite parts of the day. She had successfully established breastfeeding with Lilibet, something she felt deeply grateful for given the challenges some mothers faced. She had worked with a lactation consultant during the first weeks to ensure proper latch and positioning, and had created a feeding schedule that responded to Lilibet's natural hunger cues rather than strict timing. During feeding sessions, Meghan would often practice mindfulness techniques she had learned through her yoga and meditation practice. She focused on the sensation of nourishing her child, the warmth of Lilibet's small body against her own, and the peaceful quiet of these intimate moments. This approach helped her stay present and connected, rather than letting her mind wander to the various responsibilities and pressures waiting outside the nursery door. Harry had learned to recognize when these feeding sessions were beginning and would quietly take care of other tasks, adjusting the room temperature, playing soft background music, or simply sitting nearby with a book, providing silent support and company. They had discovered that Lilibet seemed to feed more peacefully when both parents were calm and present, creating an atmosphere of security and love. The house staff had been given specific instructions about maintaining quiet during these times. Meghan believed that protecting these peaceful moments was essential for both her own mental health and Lilibet's development. She had learned to advocate for what she and her family needed, setting boundaries that prioritized their well-being over external expectations or conveniences. As Lilibet finished feeding, Meghan began the process of burping her daughter, using techniques she had refined through experience with Archie and research into infant digestion. She held Lilibet upright against her shoulder, providing gentle pressure and rhythmic patting that helped release trapped air while also providing comfort and security. This post-feeding time often became an opportunity for play and interaction. Meghan would hold Lilibet facing outward, allowing her to observe the room and take in visual stimulation. She would point out different objects, describe colors and textures, and engage in the type of interactive play that supported cognitive development while building their emotional connection. The importance of tummy time had been emphasized by their pediatrician, and Meghan had created a special area on a soft blanket where Lilibet could practice lifting her head and strengthening her neck muscles. She would lie down beside her daughter during these sessions, making eye contact and providing encouragement. Sometimes Harry would join them, and they would take turns engaging with Lilibet while she worked on developing these crucial motor skills. Meghan had noticed that Lilibet seemed to prefer tummy time when she was alert but not overstimulated, usually about an hour after feeding. She had learned to read the subtle signs of infant fatigue and would end the session before Lilibet became fussy or overwhelmed. This attention to timing and duration helped ensure that developmental activities remained positive experiences rather than sources of stress. The nursery also featured a small library of board books with high-contrast images and simple patterns. Even at 1 month old, Meghan would show these books to Lilibet during alert periods, pointing out different shapes and colors while describing what they saw together. She believed that early exposure to books and reading created positive associations that would benefit Lilibet throughout her life. Music played an important role in their daily routine as well. Meghan had curated playlists of gentle, soothing songs from various cultures and genres, believing that early musical exposure supported brain development and emotional regulation. She would often hum or sing to Lilibet during care activities, and they had invested in a high-quality sound system that could play music at appropriate volumes throughout the nursery. Bath time had become another cherished ritual in their daily routine. Meghan had researched infant bathing techniques extensively and had created a setup that prioritized both safety and enjoyment. The specially designed infant bathtub provided proper support while allowing Lilibet to experience the soothing properties of warm water. Meghan would test the water temperature carefully and would keep bath sessions brief to prevent overstimulation or temperature drops. During baths, she would pour water gently over Lilibet's body while describing the sensations and maintaining constant physical contact to provide security. She had learned that many babies found bath time relaxing when approached calmly and methodically, and she used these sessions as opportunities for sensory play and bonding. The evening routine had been carefully crafted to support healthy sleep patterns. Meghan would begin dimming lights throughout the house as evening approached, helping to signal to Lilibet's developing circadian rhythms that sleep time was approaching. She had learned about the importance of environmental cues in establishing good sleep habits and had made adjustments throughout the house to support this process. As the sun began to set over the Montecito Hills, Meghan would carry Lilibet to the window to observe the changing light and colors in the sky. She would describe what they were seeing together, pointing out the gradual transition from day to evening. This routine helped establish a sense of natural rhythm and provided opportunities for visual stimulation and shared experience. The bedtime routine itself involved several consistent elements that helped Lilibet recognize when sleep time was approaching. Meghan would change her into comfortable sleepwear, provide a final feeding session, and spend time rocking gently in the nursing chair while humming soft lullabies. She had learned that consistency in these routines helped babies feel secure and made the transition to sleep smoother and more predictable. Harry had taken responsibility for ensuring the nursery environment was optimized for sleep each evening. He would adjust the temperature, check that blackout curtains were properly positioned, and activate the white noise machine that helped mask household sounds that might disturb Lilibet's rest. They had learned that attention to these environmental details made a significant difference in sleep quality and duration. Before placing Lilibet in her crib for the night, Meghan would spend a few moments simply holding her daughter and reflecting on the day they had shared together. She would express gratitude for these precious moments and would often share her hopes and dreams for Lilibet's future. These quiet conversations, though perhaps not understood by their infant audience, felt important to Meghan as a way of building connection and expressing the depth of her love. The crib itself had been positioned to allow for easy access during nighttime care while maintaining safety standards. Meghan had researched safe sleep practices extensively and had made sure their setup followed all current guidelines for reducing sleep-related risks. She felt confident that they had created an environment that prioritized both Lilibet's safety and comfort throughout the night. As Lilibet settled into sleep, Meghan would often remain in the nursery for a few additional minutes, simply observing her daughter's peaceful breathing and reflecting on the profound changes that had occurred in their family since her arrival. These quiet moments of observation had become a form of meditation for Meghan, helping her process the intense emotions and experiences of new motherhood while appreciating the beauty of these fleeting early stages of Lilibet's life. The early morning hours brought a different rhythm to the household, one that had become familiar over the past month since Lilibet's arrival. Meghan had learned to wake naturally before her daughter's first feeding, using these quiet moments to prepare mentally and physically for the day ahead. She would move through gentle stretching exercises in the master bedroom, practicing the mindfulness techniques that had become essential tools for managing the demands of caring for two young children. Harry had established his own morning routine that complemented Meghan's schedule perfectly. While she prepared for Lilibet's care, he would check on Archie, ensuring their older son felt included and valued during this period of family adjustment. The balance between meeting both children's needs had required careful planning and constant communication between the parents, but they had found a rhythm that worked for their unique family situation. Lilibet's morning feeding session took place in the soft light of dawn, with Meghan positioned comfortably in the nursing chair while Harry prepared for Archie's breakfast routine. The house felt peaceful at this early hour, with only the gentle sounds of birds beginning their daily songs outside the windows. Meghan had come to treasure these quiet moments before the rest of the world awakened, when she could focus entirely on nourishing her daughter without distractions. During this feeding time, Meghan would often review her mental notes about Lilibet's patterns and preferences from the previous day. She had become skilled at recognizing subtle changes in her daughter's behavior that might indicate growth spurts, developmental leaps, or simply variations in daily needs. This careful observation had become second nature, allowing her to adjust their routines and care approaches in response to Lilibet's evolving requirements. The transition from nighttime to daytime activities required careful attention to Lilibet's state of alertness and comfort. Meghan had learned to read the signs that indicated when her daughter was ready for more stimulating activities versus when she needed continued rest and quiet interaction. This skill had developed through weeks of close observation and had become one of the most valuable tools in her parenting approach. After the morning feeding, Meghan would carry Lilibet to the large windows overlooking their gardens, where the natural light could help regulate both of their circadian rhythms. She would describe the morning scene outside, the colors of the flowers, the movement of trees in the breeze, and any wildlife they might observe together. This practice served multiple purposes, providing visual stimulation for Lilibet while creating opportunities for language development and shared experiences. The garden itself had been designed with children in mind, featuring safe plants and flowers that would eventually provide opportunities for exploration and learning as both Archie and Lilibet grew older. Meghan often imagined future mornings when she might carry Lilibet outside to experience fresh air and natural environments directly, but, for now, these window observations provided appropriate stimulation for her one-month-old daughter. Breakfast time in the household had been restructured to accommodate Lilibet's schedule while ensuring that Archie continued to receive attention and engagement from his parents. Meghan had become skilled at managing multiple tasks simultaneously, holding or feeding Lilibet while also interacting with Archie and helping to coordinate his morning routine. This multitasking had required practice and patience, but had become more natural over time. Harry took primary responsibility for Archie's breakfast and morning activities during weekdays, allowing Meghan to focus on Lilibet's more frequent needs while still participating in family conversations and interactions. They had learned that clear division of responsibilities, combined with flexible communication, helped ensure that both children felt attended to and valued during busy morning periods. The kitchen had been organized to support efficient meal preparation while accommodating infant care needs. High chairs, feeding supplies, and baby-wearing devices were positioned strategically to allow for maximum flexibility in managing both children's requirements simultaneously. Meghan had researched various baby-wearing options and had found several that allowed her to keep Lilibet close while maintaining freedom to assist with Archie's needs. Lilibet seemed to enjoy the gentle motion and close contact that baby-wearing provided, often becoming calm and alert when positioned in the specially designed carriers. Meghan had experimented with different positions and wearing styles, finding that Lilibet preferred certain orientations depending on her mood and level of alertness. This discovery had made it possible to include Lilibet in various household activities while ensuring she felt secure and connected. The daily walk had become an important ritual for the entire family. Weather permitting, they would venture out into their neighborhood or nearby trails, with Lilibet secured in a stroller designed for newborns while Archie rode his bicycle or walked alongside. These outings provided fresh air and exercise for everyone while giving Lilibet exposure to new sights, sounds, and sensations that supported her sensory development. During walks, Meghan would narrate their experiences for Lilibet's benefit, describing the changing scenery, pointing out interesting objects or animals, and engaging in the type of rich verbal interaction that supported early language development. She had learned that even very young babies benefited from this type of environmental narration, and she found that it helped her stay present and engaged during their outdoor time together. The stroller itself had been carefully selected based on safety features, comfort, and adaptability to different types of terrain around their property and neighborhood. Meghan had researched various options extensively, consulting with other parents and reading reviews to ensure they chose equipment that would serve their family well throughout Lilibet's early months and beyond. Lilibet's responses to outdoor experiences had been encouraging from the beginning. She seemed to enjoy the gentle motion of the stroller and often became visibly alert when exposed to new visual stimuli like moving shadows, changing light patterns, or the sight of leaves rustling in trees overhead. Meghan documented these observations in her parenting journal, noting patterns that might inform future outdoor activities and experiences. The neighborhood itself provided a safe, peaceful environment for these daily walks. The tree-lined streets and well-maintained sidewalks created ideal conditions for regular outdoor time, while the privacy of their location allowed the family to move freely without unwanted attention or interference. This sense of security had been crucial in establishing consistent outdoor routines that benefited everyone's physical and mental health. Returning home from walks often coincided with Lilibet's next feeding time, and Meghan had learned to time their outings to align with her daughter's natural rhythm of hunger and alertness. This coordination helped ensure that transitions between activities remained smooth and that Lilibet's needs were met promptly and consistently throughout the day. The afternoon hours brought different opportunities for interaction and development. When Lilibet was in an alert, content state, Meghan would engage in activities designed to support her sensory and cognitive development. These might include showing her books with high-contrast images, playing gentle music while moving her arms and legs in rhythm, or simply engaging in extended periods of face-to-face interaction with varied facial expressions and vocal sounds. Meghan had studied infant development extensively and understood the importance of providing appropriate levels of stimulation without overwhelming her 1-month-old daughter. She had learned to recognize signs of overstimulation and would adjust activities accordingly, always prioritizing Lilibet's comfort and well-being over any developmental goals or expectations. The living spaces throughout the house had been arranged to support various types of infant activities while maintaining safety and accessibility. Soft blankets and cushions created comfortable areas for tummy time and floor play, while natural lighting from large windows provided ideal conditions for visual development activities. Meghan had been thoughtful about creating environments that felt welcoming and appropriate for both adult and infant needs. Tummy time sessions had become more elaborate as Lilibet grew stronger and more alert. Meghan would lie on the floor beside her daughter, maintaining eye contact and providing encouragement as Lilibet worked to lift her head and explore her surroundings from this new perspective. Sometimes she would place interesting objects within Lilibet's line of sight, providing motivation for head lifting and visual tracking. Harry often joined these floor sessions when his schedule allowed, and they had discovered that Lilibet seemed particularly engaged when both parents were present and actively participating in her activities. They would take turns providing different types of stimulation. One parent might sing while the other made interesting visual presentations, creating rich, multisensory experiences that supported various aspects of development. The importance of infant massage had been introduced to Meghan by their pediatrician, who explained the benefits for both physical development and emotional bonding. She had attended a class to learn proper techniques and had incorporated gentle massage sessions into their daily routine. These sessions typically occurred after bath time when Lilibet was clean, warm, and relaxed. During massage sessions, Meghan would use specially formulated infant oils and would work systematically through different areas of Lilibet's body, providing gentle pressure and rhythmic movements that promoted circulation and muscle development. She would narrate the process, describing each area being massaged while maintaining eye contact and responding to Lilibet's reactions throughout the session. These massage times had become deeply relaxing for both mother and daughter. Meghan found that the focused, meditative nature of the activity helped her feel more connected to Lilibet while also providing stress relief and opportunities for mindfulness practice. Lilibet typically became very calm and often sleepy during these sessions, making them ideal preparation for nap times or evening sleep. The research supporting infant massage had convinced Meghan of its value, and she had invested time in learning proper techniques and understanding the physiological benefits for developing babies. Studies indicated that regular massage could support immune system function, improve sleep quality, and strengthen parent-child bonding, all outcomes that aligned with her goals for Lilibet's early care. Evening routines had evolved to include the whole family while maintaining focus on Lilibet's specific needs. During dinner time, Lilibet would often be content to observe family interactions from her bouncy seat or while being held by one parent. Meghan and Harry had learned to coordinate their evening meal while taking turns managing Lilibet's care needs, ensuring that family dinner time remained a priority despite the demands of infant care. The kitchen table conversations during these evening meals often centered around observations about both children's development and plans for family activities. Archie would share stories from his day while Lilibet provided a peaceful presence that seemed to enhance the family's sense of completeness and connection. These dinner discussions had become an important time for family bonding and communication. As bedtime approached for Archie, the household would begin its gradual transition toward nighttime routines. Lights would be dimmed, voices would become softer, and activities would shift toward calmer, more soothing options. Lilibet seemed to respond positively to these environmental changes, often becoming more relaxed and sleepy as the evening progressed. The coordination between both children's bedtime needs required careful planning and flexibility. While Archie had his own established bedtime routine, Meghan and Harry had learned to adapt their approach based on Lilibet's current state and needs. Sometimes this meant adjusting timing or having one parent focus on each child individually, but they had found ways to maintain consistency while accommodating both children's requirements. Reading time had been maintained as an important family activity, with Archie choosing books for Harry to read while Meghan often held Lilibet nearby. Even though Lilibet couldn't understand the stories, exposure to the rhythm and melody of spoken language provided valuable developmental benefits. Sometimes Meghan would hold simple board books for Lilibet to observe during these family reading sessions. The transition to individual bedtime routines marked the end of shared family time and the beginning of more focused parent-child interactions. Meghan would begin Lilibet's bedtime routine while Harry completed Archie's, and they would reconvene later in the evening to discuss the day and plan for tomorrow's activities and responsibilities. The relationship between Archie and his baby sister had become one of the most heartwarming aspects of their daily life in Montecito. Meghan had carefully observed and documented the evolution of their sibling bond, noting how Archie's initial curiosity had developed into genuine affection and protective instincts toward 1-month-old Lilibet. She had made it a priority to facilitate positive interactions between her children while respecting Archie's need for continued individual attention and validation. Morning interactions between the siblings had established their own special rhythm. Archie would often ask to see his baby sister first thing upon waking, and Meghan had created opportunities for him to participate in Lilibet's morning care routine in age-appropriate ways. He might help select her outfit for the day, bring supplies during diaper changes, or simply sit nearby during feeding times, chatting quietly with Meghan about his observations of his sister's behavior. Meghan had researched extensively about helping older children adjust to new siblings, understanding that Archie's emotional well-being during this transition period was crucial for establishing healthy family dynamics. She had implemented strategies to ensure he felt valued and important, including special one-on-one time with each parent and meaningful roles in caring for Lilibet that made him feel helpful rather than displaced. The gentle way Archie spoke to Lilibet had surprised and delighted both parents. Without any prompting, he had naturally begun using a softer voice around his sister and would often narrate his activities for her benefit. Meghan would overhear him explaining his drawings, describing his toys, or simply sharing observations about the weather or household activities, as if instinctively understanding that babies benefited from hearing language and conversation. During tummy time sessions, Archie had become Lilibet's most enthusiastic cheerleader. He would lie on the floor facing his sister, making encouraging sounds and funny faces that seemed to captivate her attention and motivate her efforts to lift her head. Meghan had noticed that Lilibet appeared more engaged and alert during these sibling interaction sessions, suggesting that the connection between them was already providing developmental benefits. The afternoon schedule had been structured to include activities that both children could enjoy together, albeit at their different developmental levels. Meghan might read board books aloud while Archie looked at the pictures and Lilibet observed the bright colors and high-contrast images. Music and singing time became family affairs, with Archie contributing his own songs while Lilibet listened and occasionally responded with coos or smiles. Harry had taken special care to ensure that Archie understood his continued importance in the family structure. He would involve his son in discussions about family plans, ask for his input on activities, and maintain their special father-son traditions that had been established before Lilibet's arrival. This consistency had helped Archie feel secure in his role as big brother rather than threatened by the attention his sister required. The garden had become a favorite location for family activities that accommodated both children's needs. Archie could run and play while Meghan held or supervised Lilibet in the shade of large trees. The outdoor environment provided appropriate stimulation for both children, physical challenges and exploration opportunities for Archie, and gentle sensory experiences for Lilibet through exposure to natural light, fresh air, and the sounds of birds and rustling leaves. During these outdoor sessions, Meghan had begun introducing Lilibet to different textures and sensations in controlled, safe ways. She might hold her daughter's hand to feel the smooth bark of a tree, allow gentle breezes to brush across her skin, or position her to observe the changing patterns of light and shadow created by moving leaves overhead. These experiences provided rich sensory input that supported neural development while creating positive associations with natural environments. Archie had appointed himself as Lilibet's tour guide during garden time, pointing out flowers, insects, and birds that caught his attention. Meghan encouraged this enthusiasm while ensuring that interactions remained gentle and appropriate for a one-month-old baby. She found that Archie's natural excitement about sharing discoveries with his sister created wonderful learning opportunities for both children. The logistics of managing two children during outdoor time had required some trial and error, but Meghan and Harry had developed systems that worked well for their family. Baby wearing devices allowed Meghan to keep Lilibet close while remaining mobile enough to supervise Archie's more active play. Portable shade structures and comfortable seating areas made it possible to spend extended periods outside while ensuring everyone's comfort and safety. Photography had become an important way to document these precious family moments. Meghan had always been interested in capturing authentic, candid moments rather than posed pictures, and she found endless inspiration in the daily interactions between her children. She kept cameras easily accessible throughout the house and garden, allowing her to preserve the spontaneous moments of connection and joy that occurred regularly throughout their days together. The evening meal preparation had evolved to include both children in different capacities. Archie could help with simple tasks like washing vegetables or setting table items, while Lilibet might observe the activity from her bouncy seat or while being held. Meghan had discovered that involving both children in household activities helped create a sense of family unity and gave everyone opportunities to contribute according to their abilities. Cooking with children present required extra attention to safety and timing, but Meghan had found ways to make meal preparation educational and enjoyable for everyone involved. She would describe ingredients, cooking processes, and nutritional benefits while working, creating rich learning environments that benefited Archie directly and exposed Lilibet to varied vocabulary and conversation patterns. The kitchen had been organized to support these family cooking sessions, with child-safe tools accessible for Archie and clear sightlines that allowed Meghan to supervise both children simultaneously. High chairs, bouncy seats, and baby-wearing options provided flexibility in positioning Lilibet depending on her current state and the specific cooking activities taking place. Mealtimes themselves had become opportunities for modeling social skills and family values for both children. Archie was learning about conversation, sharing, and table manners, while Lilibet was exposed to the rhythms and patterns of family interaction. Meghan made sure to include both children in mealtime conversations, addressing comments to Lilibet even though she couldn't respond verbally, and encouraging Archie to share his thoughts and experiences. The afternoon nap schedule had been carefully coordinated to provide rest time for both children while allowing Meghan some moments for personal care and household management. When both children were sleeping simultaneously, she might use the time for activities like updating her parenting journal, preparing for upcoming meals, or simply resting herself, a practice she had learned was essential for maintaining the energy and patience required for effective parenting. These quiet afternoon periods had become precious to Meghan for reflection and planning. She would review the morning's activities, consider adjustments to routines or approaches, and prepare mentally for evening activities. Sometimes she would use this time to read parenting resources, research developmental milestones, or simply practice meditation and mindfulness techniques that helped her stay centered and present. The house during nap time felt peaceful and restored, with soft lighting and minimal noise creating an environment conducive to rest for everyone. Meghan had learned to use these periods efficiently while also respecting their importance for mental and physical restoration. She found that how she spent these quiet times often influenced her energy and mood for the remainder of the day. Wake-up routines for both children required careful coordination and attention to individual needs and temperaments. Lilibet typically woke gradually and peacefully, while Archie might emerge from naps more quickly and with immediate needs for snacks or activities. Meghan had developed strategies for managing these different wake-up styles while ensuring both children felt attended to and supported during their transitions back to alertness. The late afternoon period often brought increased activity and energy as both children became more alert and interactive. This was frequently when Lilibet displayed her most engaged and social behaviors, making eye contact, responding to voices and faces, and sometimes producing the small smiles that delighted her entire family. Meghan had learned to recognize and treasure these moments of connection and communication. Evening bath routines had been staggered to allow for individual attention while maintaining family cohesion. Archie's bath time might include water play and conversation about his day, while Lilibet's bath focused on gentle cleansing and sensory experiences with warm water and soft washcloths. Sometimes they would coordinate timing so that both children could be clean and comfortable for evening family time together. The bathroom had been equipped with supplies and safety features appropriate for both children's needs. Non-slip surfaces, temperature controls, and organized storage for different types of bath products made these routines efficient and safe. Meghan had found that preparation and organization were key to managing bath time successfully with two young children. Post-bath routines provided opportunities for massage, quiet play, and preparation for evening activities or bedtime. Lilibet's post-bath massage had become a particularly special time for mother-daughter bonding, while Archie's post-bath routine might include story time or quiet conversation with Harry. These individual attention periods helped ensure that both children received focused care and interaction from their parents. The evening hours before bedtime had become family time characterized by calm, connected activities that supported everyone's transition toward rest. Soft music, dimmed lighting, and gentle activities created an atmosphere that naturally encouraged relaxation and sleepiness for both children while allowing parents to maintain meaningful connections with each child according to their individual needs and developmental stages. Storytime had evolved to include selections appropriate for both children simultaneously. Picture books with engaging illustrations could hold Archie's attention while providing visual stimulation for Lilibet. Meghan and Harry had discovered that their reading voices and the rhythm of storytelling seemed to have calming effects on both children, making this an ideal pre-bedtime activity for the entire family. The transition from family time to individual bedtime routines marked an important daily milestone, representing the culmination of another day spent nurturing their growing family bonds. Meghan felt grateful for these predictable, peaceful endings to their days together, recognizing how these patterns provided security and stability for both children while creating treasured memories of their early family life in their Montecito home. The development of Lilibet's sleep patterns had become a source of both fascination and relief for Meghan and Harry. After weeks of careful observation and gentle routine establishment, their 1-month-old daughter was beginning to show signs of longer sleep stretches during nighttime hours. Meghan had documented these changes meticulously in her parenting journal, noting correlations between daily activities, feeding schedules, and subsequent sleep quality. The nursery environment had been refined continuously based on Lilibet's responses and preferences. Meghan had experimented with different combinations of white noise, room temperature, and lighting conditions to create the optimal sleep environment. She had discovered that Lilibet seemed to sleep most peacefully when the room maintained a consistent temperature of 68 degrees, with gentle white noise masking household sounds and blackout curtains creating complete darkness during nighttime hours. Harry had taken responsibility for monitoring and adjusting the technical aspects of the sleep environment, including the operation of air purification systems, temperature controls, and sound machines. His attention to these details allowed Meghan to focus on the more hands-on aspects of Lilibet's care while ensuring that their daughter's environment supported healthy rest patterns. The nighttime feeding schedule had evolved as Lilibet's capacity for longer sleep periods increased. Rather than adhering to rigid timing, Meghan had learned to respond to her daughter's natural hunger cues while gently encouraging longer intervals between nighttime feedings. This approach required patience and flexibility, but had resulted in more restful nights for the entire family while meeting Lilibet's nutritional needs. During nighttime feedings, Meghan maintained a calm, quiet atmosphere that distinguished these sessions from daytime interactions. She would keep lighting minimal, speak in soft whispers, and focus on efficiency while still providing comfort and connection. This approach helped Lilibet understand the difference between day and night activities, supporting the development of healthy circadian rhythms. The master bedroom had been arranged to facilitate nighttime care while preserving opportunities for parental rest. A comfortable chair near the window provided an ideal location for nighttime feeding sessions, while a changing station with supplies within easy reach minimized disruptions. Night lights with red filters provided sufficient visibility for safety while avoiding the blue light that could interfere with everyone's ability to return to sleep. Recovery time after nighttime wake-ups had become an important consideration in their household management. Meghan had learned techniques for helping herself return to sleep quickly after feeding sessions, including breathing exercises and progressive muscle relaxation methods. She found that these practices helped her maximize rest during the interrupted sleep periods that were natural parts of caring for a newborn. Harry had established his own system for supporting nighttime care while maintaining his ability to function effectively during daytime responsibilities. They had developed a communication system that allowed them to coordinate care needs without fully waking each other, and they had learned to share nighttime responsibilities in ways that distributed the physical and mental demands of round-the-clock infant care. The morning hours following interrupted nights required special attention to family energy levels and mood management. Meghan had learned to adjust daily schedules based on how much rest everyone had received, ensuring that expectations remained realistic and that both children's needs could be met effectively despite varying levels of parental alertness and energy. Breakfast routines during more tired periods might involve simpler meal options and more relaxed timing, while activities throughout the day could be adjusted to require less intensive supervision or preparation. This flexibility had become an important part of their parenting approach, recognizing that adaptation and responsiveness were more valuable than rigid adherence to predetermined schedules. The support systems within their household had become crucial during particularly challenging sleep periods. Harry and Meghan had learned to communicate openly about their individual needs for rest and support, and they had developed strategies for ensuring that both parents could maintain their physical and emotional well-being while meeting their children's needs consistently. Extended family and close friends had offered various forms of support, from meal preparation to childcare assistance for Archie during particularly demanding periods with Lilibet. Meghan had initially struggled with accepting help, preferring to manage everything independently, but had come to appreciate how support from trusted individuals could enhance rather than compromise her family's well-being. The integration of technology into their childcare approach had been carefully considered and selectively implemented. Baby monitors with video capabilities allowed them to observe Lilibet's sleep patterns and movements without entering the nursery unnecessarily. However, they had chosen to rely primarily on their own observations and instincts rather than depending heavily on technological devices for parenting decisions. Smartphone applications for tracking feeding schedules, sleep patterns, and developmental milestones had been evaluated but used sparingly. Meghan preferred her handwritten journal for recording important information, finding that the process of writing helped her process and remember details more effectively than digital alternatives. However, she appreciated having backup data available when consulting with their pediatrician. The pediatric care schedule had been established to provide regular checkups while minimizing disruptions to Lilibet's developing routines. Their chosen pediatrician supported their attachment-based parenting approach and provided guidance that aligned with their values and goals. Regular consultations provided reassurance about Lilibet's healthy development while offering opportunities to discuss any questions or concerns. Preparation for pediatric visits involved careful documentation of observations, questions, and any changes in Lilibet's behavior or development since the previous appointment. Meghan would review her journal entries and compile lists of topics to discuss, ensuring that these important consultations provided maximum value for understanding and supporting Lilibet's growth and development. The car seat and transportation safety protocols had been researched extensively and implemented carefully. Every trip outside the home required careful attention to proper installation and positioning, with both parents taking responsibility for understanding and maintaining these crucial safety measures. They had chosen to limit unnecessary travel during Lilibet's first months, prioritizing routine and familiar environments. When outings were necessary or desired, careful planning ensured that Lilibet's needs could be met consistently regardless of location. Portable supplies for feeding, changing, and comfort were organized in advance, and timing was coordinated with Lilibet's natural rhythms of alertness and rest. These preparations allowed for successful family outings while maintaining the stability that supported Lilibet's well-being. The social aspects of parenting a newborn had required careful consideration and boundary setting. Well-meaning friends and family members often expressed desires to visit and interact with Lilibet, but Meghan and Harry had established guidelines that prioritized their daughter's routine and health while maintaining important relationships. Visits were scheduled strategically and limited in duration to prevent overstimulation. Photography sessions with professional photographers had been planned carefully to capture important early milestones while respecting Lilibet's comfort and schedule. These sessions were brief and conducted in familiar environments, with parents maintaining primary focus on their daughter's well-being rather than perfect images. The resulting photographs provided treasured memories while documenting this precious early period. The documentation of Lilibet's development had become an important daily practice for both parents. Beyond Meghan's detailed journal entries, they maintained photo collections, video recordings of significant moments, and written observations about emerging skills and preferences. This documentation served multiple purposes, from creating lasting memories to providing valuable information for healthcare consultations. Growth measurements and developmental milestone tracking provided objective measures of Lilibet's progress while allowing parents to celebrate small victories and changes that might otherwise go unnoticed in the daily routine of care. These records also helped identify patterns and preferences that informed decisions about activities, schedules, and care approaches. The seasonal changes in their Montecito environment provided opportunities to expose Lilibet to varied sensory experiences while maintaining comfortable, safe conditions. Autumn weather allowed for pleasant outdoor time with appropriate clothing and protection from elements. The changing light patterns throughout the day offered natural variations in visual stimulation that supported healthy development. Garden observations during different times of day and weather conditions became regular parts of their routine. Lilibet seemed to respond positively to the gentle movement of leaves and the changing intensity of natural light. These experiences provided rich sensory input while requiring no special equipment or elaborate preparation, making them easily sustainable parts of their daily life. The evening routine had been refined to signal the approaching transition to nighttime rest. Dimming lights throughout the house, reducing activity levels, and implementing consistent care sequences helped Lilibet recognize when sleep time was approaching. These environmental and routine cues supported the development of healthy circadian rhythms and made bedtime transitions smoother for everyone. Bath time had evolved into a particularly soothing pre-bedtime ritual. The warm water temperature, gentle washing motions, and calm atmosphere created conditions that naturally promoted relaxation and sleepiness. Meghan had learned to gauge the optimal timing and duration for these baths to maximize their calming effects while avoiding overstimulation that might interfere with sleep. The final feeding session of each day took place in the peaceful atmosphere of the prepared nursery, with all environmental conditions optimized for promoting sleepiness. Meghan would focus entirely on providing nourishment and comfort while maintaining the quiet, calm energy that supported Lilibet's transition to longer periods of nighttime rest. As she placed Lilibet in her crib each evening, Meghan would reflect on the day's experiences and observations, noting in her mental catalogue the small changes and developments that marked her daughter's growth. These quiet moments of connection and gratitude had become treasured parts of her daily routine, providing closure for each day while acknowledging the privilege of witnessing and supporting Lilibet's early development in their loving home environment. The approaching end of Lilibet's first month of life prompted Meghan to reflect deeply on the profound changes that had occurred within their family structure since her daughter's arrival. Each day had brought new discoveries about Lilibet's personality, preferences, and developing patterns of interaction with the world around her. The careful observations documented in Meghan's parenting journal now filled nearly 50 pages with detailed notes about feeding schedules, sleep patterns, developmental milestones, and precious moments of connection. Harry had noticed remarkable changes in Meghan's confidence and intuition as a mother during this intensive month of caring for their newborn daughter. Her ability to interpret Lilibet's various cries, respond to subtle behavioral cues, and anticipate needs had developed with impressive speed and accuracy. This maternal intuition, combined with her research-based approach to parenting decisions, had created an effective foundation for providing responsive, nurturing care. The household rhythms had stabilized into predictable patterns that served everyone's needs while maintaining flexibility for the inevitable variations that came with caring for a growing infant. Morning routines flowed smoothly from one activity to the next, afternoon schedules accommodated both children's changing energy levels, and evening transitions toward rest felt natural and peaceful for the entire family. Lilibet's emerging personality had begun to reveal itself through her responses to different types of stimulation and interaction. She seemed to prefer gentle, rhythmic movements over sudden motions, showed clear preferences for certain musical tones and volumes, and displayed distinct reactions to various voices and facial expressions. These early personality traits fascinated both parents and influenced their approaches to daily care and interaction. The sibling relationship between Archie and Lilibet had evolved into something beautiful and heartwarming. Archie's initial curiosity had developed into genuine affection and a protective instinct that surprised everyone with its maturity and gentleness. He had begun incorporating Lilibet into his imaginary play scenarios, talking to her about his activities, and showing concern when she cried or seemed uncomfortable. During family meals, Archie would often direct comments toward Lilibet, describing his food or sharing observations about their surroundings as if she could understand and appreciate his commentary. These spontaneous interactions demonstrated his acceptance of her as a permanent and valued member of their family unit, while providing rich language exposure that supported her early cognitive development. The photography documentation of this first month had captured countless precious moments that would become treasured family memories for years to come. Candid shots of feeding sessions, tummy time exercises, sibling interactions, and quiet family moments told the story of Lilibet's integration into their loving household while preserving the fleeting details of her early infancy. Meghan had also begun taking short video recordings of Lilibet's emerging skills and behaviors, creating a digital archive of her daughter's early development that could be shared with extended family members and preserved for future enjoyment. These recordings captured the subtle changes in motor skills, visual tracking abilities, and social responsiveness that marked significant developmental progress. The support network surrounding their family had proved invaluable during this intense month of adjustment and learning. Close friends had provided meal deliveries during particularly challenging days, while family members offered emotional encouragement and practical assistance when needed. This community support had reinforced Meghan's appreciation for the importance of maintaining connections with trusted individuals who understood and respected their parenting values. Professional support services, including their pediatrician, lactation consultant, and household staff, had provided crucial assistance that allowed Meghan and Harry to focus primarily on bonding with and caring for their children. This support structure had been carefully chosen to align with their family values while providing expert guidance and practical assistance during this important early period. The financial aspects of providing high-quality care for two young children had required careful consideration and planning. From specialized baby equipment to organic food supplies to professional support services, the costs associated with their parenting approach were significant but viewed as essential investments in their children's healthy development and their own ability to provide excellent care. Educational planning had already begun for both children, with Meghan researching various philosophical approaches to early childhood development and learning. She was particularly interested in methods that emphasized creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence while respecting each child's individual learning style and natural curiosity about the world around them. The legal aspects of protecting Lilibet's privacy and safety had required ongoing attention, particularly given their family's public profile. Careful consideration had been given to limiting photographic exposure, controlling access to personal information, and establishing boundaries that would allow their children to grow up with as much normalcy as possible despite their unique circumstances. Estate planning and future security considerations had been updated to reflect Lilibet's presence in their family and to ensure that both children would be protected and provided for throughout their lives. These practical matters, while not immediately relevant to daily care, provided peace of mind that allowed Meghan and Harry to focus on present-moment parenting without worry about future uncertainties. The cultural heritage aspects of Lilibet's upbringing had been discussed extensively between Meghan and Harry, with decisions made about how to honor both sides of her diverse background while allowing her to develop her own sense of identity and belonging. These conversations had touched on everything from holiday traditions to language exposure to travel experiences that would broaden her understanding of the world. Environmental consciousness had influenced many decisions about Lilibet's care, from choosing organic cotton clothing and bedding to selecting toys made from sustainable materials to implementing waste reduction practices throughout their household. These choices reflected their commitment to raising environmentally aware children while creating healthy living environments free from unnecessary chemicals and toxins. The month had also brought challenges that tested both parents' patience, problem-solving abilities, and commitment to their parenting values. Difficult nights, feeding struggles, and moments of uncertainty had provided opportunities to practice resilience, adaptability, and mutual support while maintaining focus on Lilibet's well-being and healthy development. Growth spurts had created periods of increased feeding frequency and disrupted sleep patterns that required flexibility and additional patience from both parents. Understanding these as normal parts of infant development had helped them navigate these challenging phases without becoming discouraged or questioning their parenting approaches. Medical considerations had been minimal but important, with careful attention to proper hygiene, feeding safety, and recognition of normal versus concerning infant behaviors. Their pediatrician's guidance had been invaluable in helping them distinguish between normal developmental variations and potential issues requiring professional intervention. The seasonal transition during Lilibet's first month had provided opportunities to introduce her to changing environmental conditions while maintaining comfortable, safe exposure to natural elements. Autumn weather in California had been ideal for outdoor activities, with pleasant temperatures and beautiful natural scenery providing rich sensory experiences for the entire family. Holiday planning was beginning to take shape, with discussions about how to create meaningful celebrations that honored family traditions while establishing new customs that reflected their unique family composition and values. These early holidays with both children would create lasting memories and establish patterns for future celebrations. The first month's conclusion marked not an ending but a transition to new phases of development and family growth. Lilibet's increasing alertness and social responsiveness suggested that upcoming weeks would bring new opportunities for interaction and learning, while her developing sleep patterns promised more predictable routines that would benefit everyone's well-being. Meghan's personal growth during this month had been as significant as her daughter's development. Her confidence in making parenting decisions, her ability to balance multiple responsibilities, and her skill in maintaining family harmony while meeting individual needs had all strengthened considerably through the intensive experience of caring for two young children. The relationship between Meghan and Harry had also evolved during this period, with their partnership deepening through shared responsibilities, mutual support during challenging moments, and joint celebration of their daughter's milestones and achievements. Their communication had become more efficient and intuitive, reflecting their growing expertise in coordinating complex family logistics. As the first month drew to a close, both parents felt grateful for the opportunity to witness and support Lilibet's earliest developmental stages while building strong foundations for her future growth and learning. The careful attention to routine, environment, and responsive care had created conditions that supported healthy development while strengthening family bonds that would endure throughout the years ahead. Looking forward, Meghan anticipated continued discoveries about Lilibet's emerging personality, preferences, and abilities. The second month would likely bring increased social interaction, longer periods of alertness, and, perhaps, the first genuine smiles that would mark important milestones in her emotional and social development. The parenting journal would continue to capture these precious details and observations, creating a comprehensive record of Lilibet's early life that would become a treasured family document for years to come. These written memories would supplement the photographic and video documentation while providing insights into the daily realities of caring for and loving their remarkable daughter during these irreplaceable early months of her life.